Now I want to create another page inside our application. I want to have a page. When we click on our movie here, I want to go to this page. It will be a movie preview, and there we can see all the details about this movie. So for that we will need another view component, and we will need a new route. So back here inside our project, let's create another component here, and I will call this movie preview.view, and let's just create our scaffold here, and we can have div with an ID of movie preview, and here we can just have some h1 heading movie preview just for now, and later we will add all the details about the movie. And let's also copy styles from movie preview and paste it right here. So now we can create a route inside our router here, inside index. Let's copy this old route that we have, and here I want to have movie preview, and I also want to send an ID of this movie to our movie component, so we can actually, by that ID, fetch the movie from our store. So in order to pass a parameter, we can use :id, and here let's also name our component. I will have movie preview here, and our component, we will actually load this component using lazy load. So we can say import, and then here we just have to specify the path to our component. So use movie preview. Okay, so let's save. Also, we have to, when we want to pass some props down to our component, well, we have to tell this route here, this router, that we want to pass props. So let's say props true. And then also inside movie preview, well, we have to register these props. So props, and here I want to have an ID, and I'll give this a type of number, and maybe we can set default to be null. Okay, so inside the movie here, and well, when I click on this image, I want to activate a method, and this method will be open details. And then here let's define this method, so open details. So I want to programmatically navigate to our new route, so we can call router that we have globally available on our view instance, and then we can use this push method that will actually push our state into another route, add another insert inside our history object. So here we can say the name of the route, which is movie preview, and then we also have to pass parameters that we defined. So here we will have ID, that's the parameter, and we can grab this from the movie, so movie.id. Well, let's save, and let's see if this actually works. So back here, if we click on the movie, well, we go to this page, we have movie preview here, and we are on the movie preview /1. So that is really cool. So let's go back and let's finish our movie preview component. So we have a couple of stuff that we can add here. Well, first I want to import navbar here. So navbar from, and we have to go inside components /navbar, and we also have to register components here. So components, and let's say navbar, and then here I will not have this h1, so let's here have navbar, and let's close this down. Okay, so next I want to have a div here, and I want to give this an ID of movie container. Inside let's have another div, and I'll give this an ID of movie poster. So how I imagined our screen to look like, on the left we will have an image or the poster of our movie, and then on the right we will have all the details about this movie. And then at the bottom we will have two buttons, one to edit this movie and one button to delete the movie. So then here inside let's have a image, and we have to bind this property here, and we can take movie.poster as our image, and also here have movie poster. So beneath this image, I want to have that next section, so we need another div, and I'll give this an ID of movie info. Inside I want to have a div, a wrapping div, and I want to have all the details about this movie. So here we will have the name of our movie. Next, let's have, with lower letters, H3 only. So let's have the year of the movie, so movie.year. We can actually copy this down. So let's have here the category of the movie. And let's also have the rating here. And I will wrap this inside span. Well, actually, we'll do the same thing that we have here. So let's take this span and let's copy it here inside this H3. And we will also need this function, get rating color. Let's also copy it and let's paste it here inside methods. Okay, so after span, we have the budget of the movie. So movie.budget. Let's copy this down. Here we have, so let's here actually write budget. And here we'll have box office for the movie. So that's the movie earnings. So box office. Beneath this, well, we will have a couple of actors inside our movie. So let's here say actors. And then I want to loop inside here. I want to have a span. And I want to render all the actors that we have for this movie. So let's add v4. And here inside, well, I want to take actor and also index from movie.actors. And we also have to bind this key here. So let's have index. I'm making so many mistakes in this lecture. So here let's have actor.name. Okay, so we have an issue here. What is it? Okay, we have to close this here. Okay. And also here in. Okay, so after actor, well, the last thing that we have is we have the story of our movie. So let's add, well, movie.storyline. And we can also write here storyline, but I will actually add a strong here to have this storyline bolded. So storyline, like this. And let's also add colon here. Let's also add buttons after this div here. So let's have a div, and I'll give this an ID of options. And here we can have two buttons. So first button will be edit, and the second button will be delete. So here I want to give this a class of edit, and to our second button I want to give a class of delete. So we can't actually check whether this works because we have to actually fetch this movie here first. Now if we try to visit our page, everything will just break down. We will have errors because, well, we don't have this movie inside our component. So let's define data here. We have to return an object, movie. And now we have to fetch this movie by the ID from our store. So inside created at, when this component is created, Well, here I want to fetch call from store. So inside our movies here, well, we just need to define a new getter. So let's, inside getters, add another method here. So get movie by ID. Let's call state. And let's also pass ID here. So inside here, I just want to return state.movies. And I want to call this find method that we have available on JavaScript. So movie element and then movie.id equals to ID that we passed to this getter. So that is it, what we have to do. So we just have to call this function here. So this dot store dot get, well, actually getters dot get movie by ID, and we have to pass the ID that we have here inside our props. So this dot ID. So, and also when we fetch this movie, well, we actually have to set it inside our local state here. So this movie equals to this store getters and get movie by ID. So if we go to our browser, well, we don't have anything here. And if we open up our developer tools, well, we have an error. Cannot read property poster of undefined, which means that we didn't fetch this movie properly. And I actually created this on purpose just to show you a small bug that can happen. So let's log ID here, this.id. So back here, let's refresh, and we have ID here. Well, it's 1, we can clearly see that. But let's also log type of this ID. So if we refresh, well, we have string here, and that's a problem. Because inside our movies here, inside our getter, we are using this 3 equals, which will compare both the type of this variable and also the value of the variable. So inside our store, we have this as a number, and then here we have it as a string. So what we have to do inside our movie preview, well, we have to parse this as a integer. So parse int, and then provide our ID here. So now if we go here, let's close this down and let's refresh. Well, we finally have our movie. So we have our image, we have details. This is messed up, we'll have to take a look what is broken. And then here we have 2 buttons. We have a button to edit the movie and we have a button to delete the movie.